72-year-old Harvey Weinstein's 2020 Me Too case has been overturned. Will it be freed from the penitentiary? Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about 72-year-old former Hollywood mogul Harvey Weinstein's 2020 quote-unquote Me Too case being overturned. Now, this does not mean he'll be freed from the penitentiary. Actually, he's going to remain in prison right now because he has another conviction that is not this conviction. Because remember back then, Harvey Weinstein was accused of quite a bit. There were about 80 women who came forward and said that this man assaulted them. Now, some of the cases did not go through. They got dropped, or it might have been a civil thing. But some of the cases did go to court, and he was convicted of at least 2 separate things that he's in prison for right now, one of which got overturned. Now, he could get freed from the penitentiary if the other case or cases are also overturned, which is going to be kind of hard. One case was, I believe, in LA. I'm not sure where this one is. It could be New York, could be LA. We'll figure that out in a minute. What does this mean? Well, what I think this means is that a lot of cases like this are not going to be taken this seriously because Harvey Weinstein, in my opinion, was seen as the face of all of it. Even beyond Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein was the tip of the spear of the Me Too movement, in my humble opinion. If y'all disagree or agree, let me know in the comments below. Now, what Harvey Weinstein did before we get to the news clip, what he did was basically run a casting couch. That is the accusation. And how that worked is, since he's an executive in Hollywood, he makes movies. All right, young lady, you want to get in this movie? You want to have this star role? Okay, check it out. Come to my room, do X, Y, and Z, and you have the part. That is what he is accused of doing. Now, this sometimes went into a different direction where he was straight up sexually assaulting people, according to the allegations and the conviction. Cat Williams recently said that Harvey Weinstein offered to perform an oral favor on him in front of his entire team. And there's quite a few stories just like that all over Hollywood. Not just about Harvey Weinstein, but about a bunch of other guys, Bill Cosby being one of them. Now, before I go any further into it, let's get to a couple of clips. And of course, I will link to everything in the description. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
New York's highest court today overturning Harvey Weinstein's 2020 rape conviction, finding the judge at the landmark #MeToo trial prejudiced the ex-movie mogul with egregious improper rulings.
Now, she said New York's court, so I presume this is in New York. And the other case that he's still in prison for right now, that was in LA.
Including a decision to let women testify about allegations that were not a part of the case. Quote from them, it says, "We conclude that the trial court erroneously admitted testimony of uncharged, alleged prior sexual acts against persons other than the complainants of the underlying crimes," end quote. That court decision coming down 4-3. The court's majority saying, quote, "It is an abuse of judicial discretion to permit untested allegations of nothing more than bad behavior that destroys a defendant's character, but sheds no light on their credibility as related to the criminal charges lodged against them."
I mean, this sounds kind of reasonable, but what do you guys think so far? Do you think this is somebody who just might be a friend of Harvey Weinstein, the appeals court judge? Do you think this is a reasonable explanation? You can't just assault somebody's character and use that as evidence. Y'all let me, give me your thought process so far in the comments. I'd love to hear it.
Quote, in a stinging dissent, Judge Madeline Singas wrote that the majority was whitewashing the facts to conform to a he said, she said narrative, and said the Court of Appeals was continuing a, quote, disturbing trend of overturning juries' guilty verdicts in cases involving sexual violence. Weinstein, now at age 72, has been serving a 23-year sentence in a New York prison following his conviction on charges of criminal sex acts for forcibly performing oral sex on a TV and film production assistant back in 2006 and rape in the 3rd degree for an attack on an expiring actress in 2013. We are told he will remain imprisoned because he was convicted in Los Angeles in 2022 of another rape and sentenced to 16 years in prison. Weinstein.
So exactly, that's what I'm saying. You got different cases. You have this one in New York that's been overturned, and then there's another one in LA. And I think this one in New York can be retried. If I'm not mistaken, y'all let me know in the comments. But regardless of whether he can get retried or not in New York, he's still in prison for the one in Los Angeles.
Was acquitted in Los Angeles on charges involving one of the women who testified in New York. Again, this breaking news coming into our live now from Fox Studios, now 9:37 on the East Coast. A New York appeals court overturning Harvey Weinstein's 2020 rape conviction.
Now, there's more here. We're going to get into a little bit of some analyst type situation. Let's go ahead and check it out.
The ruling says that there were egregious, that's the word, egregious errors made by the trial judge in this case. It seems that the primary reason that this case has been overturned has to do with the judge allowing other women who were not part of the charges in this case, that they were allowed to testify to what we lawyers call prior bad acts, that is, acts they said were sexual assault done by Harvey Weinstein. What the highest court of New York says is that that evidence was so unduly prejudicial that its admission changed the course of the trial.
I mean, I kind of agree with that. And the thing is, I'm not trying to defend Harvey Weinstein. Don't get it twisted. But it's like, okay, if I'm being accused of doing X and then Y gets put in there to make X look like it happened, how is that relevant? I mean, maybe it is, but I think the primary thing should be about what did I do in this situation? Let's prove that. So I kind of understand, although I'm not trying to defend Harvey Weinstein, I wouldn't want that same thing to be done against me or any of you guys out there who may be innocent of what they're being accused of. You understand? But I digress.
Because the jury was looking at Harvey Weinstein, looking at his character, this propensity to act, and not looking at the crimes that were charged in New York.
It sounds like you are not all that surprised as a legal expert seeing how the case unfolded that we're here today.
Yes, that is correct. I was not surprised as a lawyer, but I am sure society is surprised. Keep in mind this, he still is doing 16 years for convictions for similar crimes in California.
Yeah, I don't see the California case getting overturned. But in New York, I mean, it kind of makes sense of what they're saying, although I'm not going to defend Harvey Weinstein. If Harvey Weinstein stays in the penitentiary forever, then oh well, it is what it is, because I'm sure throughout his life, there's been a lot. I mean, look, we're talking about the law. The law is one thing. You can't just do whatever you want with the law. But we're talking about how you feel and what you think. That's something totally different. Do I think Harvey Weinstein's a scumbag and should be in the penitentiary making big rocks, little rocks? Yes, I do think that he should be in the penitentiary cracking them rocks down to microscopic size. But legally, what the lawyer said there made a lot of sense. I mean, how can you fight against that? But as I close, I want to say this. Harvey Weinstein has a case overturned in New York, but still in prison for a Los Angeles conviction. Probably won't come home anymore. He's 72 years old. He's serving a 16-year sentence. Let's just say he was placed in prison 2 years ago to start a 16-year sentence at age 70. Now, I'm no mathematician, but 70 plus 16, 86. And he's already hunched over right now with a walker. So that's probably a life sentence. He's pretty much toast. But I think what this does is maybe prevent some of the false allegations. Harvey Weinstein, there's probably a reason why he's in prison, but some guys get a lot of false allegations levied against them. And even if there's no conviction, it can ruin their life forever. So I don't want to see that happen to innocent people, all because many of us believe that Harvey Weinstein should be in the penitentiary making big rocks, little rocks. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on what's going on here with Harvey Weinstein? Do you think that the case should have been overturned? Should it have not been overturned? Whatever your thoughts and your reasoning behind your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. Legally, it was probably the right thing to do based upon the evidence, based upon what I was told here. But personally, yeah, go ahead and be in the penitentiary. My personal opinion and my legal and legal reality are two different things. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.